People, them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul.
All right, let's get this show started, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this show started. Welcome to the show. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are off to a rocky start with a rocky finish.
Deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back. Deja vu when I first class. It's like every week I
Good morning, Bill. Nice to see you.
I'm on
Beautiful,
top of
Bill.
my game.
Nice to see you.
Class. You can tell that I made it. Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas.
I play the game so raw, I won't finish last.
Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it.
This is how it's supposed to happen when you get rich and famous, right? The algorithm turns us to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac. I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. Amelina, good morning. Nice to see you. Good morning, Shay. Good morning, Mary Bell.
Got a lot of confidence and I'm
Beautiful. Charity, you too. Leroy. Here's a Zeus hater.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days.
Yes.
It was radical.
Very radical.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
Oh my God.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are back in the Thunderdome. I'm your host, I'm your pilot. You know, once again, while we are gathered here this morning, we have to save this great country of ours from guess what? You know who. But before we get started, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you who do not know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm the most honest person on social media. Hands down, hands down. Many have came, honestly. Many have came, and a lot have fallen. All right? But it's because I'm committed to doing what needs to get done. All right? The second H as well, because I'm humble. If I get it wrong, I will be the first to apologize. But here's the thing: just because your feelings are hurt, honestly, that does not mean I owe you an apology. Absolutely not. But if it was something seriously that I get it wrong, you know, or I offended a brethren, so to speak, but only in the context that we're both striving to, you know, be on the good side, right? I would definitely issue an apology, all right? And then the last and the final H, ladies and gentlemen, you guessed it. It's honestly one of the most important H's. It's because I am and will always remain the most handsome. Nobody has to get out here. You know exactly why we are here. We have to keep getting the truth out here and reminding these folks who have been led astray. You know, these are people who are spiritually sick, so to speak, right? We are saving this great country of ours from the evil clutches of Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA demons. All right. So before I go any further, do I have anyone out there that is still supporting Donald Trump? Anyone out there still supporting Donald Trump in light of all of the red flags that are just blaring and blasting right in front of your eyes, telling you to get off of the ridiculous Trump train? Anyone still supporting Donald Trump, please? Okay. All right. This is what I got to do. I got to say this. I got to give you a PSA announcement because it's getting out of hand. The jealousy that MAGA is showing me, and what are you jealous about Zeus for? What are you upset with Zeus for? What lies do you got about me or anybody else that comes onto this show? It's getting out of hand. Just be honest with yourselves and say, you're mad because Donald Trump played you like a fiddle, especially you. I see who you are. So what I'll say is this: if you do not like truth, right? If you love being in a cult, smelling Donald Trump's dirty, disgusting diaper, you know, getting a blast off of that and then going around and making yourself look real ridiculous, you might want to leave this live. All right. You really do, because it's going to get very, very uncomfortable for you here in the Thunderdome. All right. It's going to get very uncomfortable for you here in the Thunderdome because there's going to be so much truth zigging and zagging all over this all over this show that you're going to feel like your head is spinning and it might just pop off. W Zeus. All right. So if you do not want to experience that, if you do not want to Spit out your Cheez-Its and Diet Coke, because we know that's what they eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. If you do not want me to ruin breakfast, lunch, dinner, and everything in between, leave this live and go hang out with these fake TikTok hosts that'll lie to you. And they'll spend all this time in your DMs trying to win you over and seem like they're nice people. But these people, they're not nice. These people are not nice, all right? You go hang out with them, because trust me, I've dealt with every single one of these MAGA demons, and it's all the same. Once they realize that they can't get you to go over to their side, you know what they do? Oh, Zeus is such a terrible person. Yeah, you go hang out with those folks, because they'll listen to you, all right? I won't, all right? And I'll give you a bit of an opportunity to leave. Like, here's the PSA announcement I give every single person, especially you Trump supporters.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right, all right. The doors to the Thunderdome have officially closed. If you're in here, it's because you chose to be here. Please do not ask me to apologize for anything that happens on this show. If I go above and beyond to give you an ample warning, heads up, this is some real crazy stuff we're dealing with in America, and it goes down on this show. It doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. If you can't handle it, honestly, just leave, because I'm not a professional therapist. Tried it before, and I said, you know what? I don't got time to entertain this stuff, all right? So let's get started with today's politics. First of all, you all see this beautiful woman in the background. This is who we could have had as our president. Let's just all sit back there and just look at, this is what a real beautiful woman really looks like. And I just couldn't help but wonder, why on earth did all these people in the United States of America have an issue with Vice President Kamala Harris? I just couldn't help but wonder. I mean, I'm going to play, it's just something, and I'm just going to ask, I had to ask myself, is she lying? Was she lying to you when she was saying what she was going to do to help you? I mean, wouldn't you have wanted a nice, beautiful woman to be the president, beautiful black woman who had her mind all intact and wasn't running around here harming kids? You know, I say that's what the Trump administration is doing, because they're harming children by this deportation stuff they're doing. You know, now they want to send kids to Africa. You hear about this, Libya. They want to send the kids to Libya, kids with cancer. He's ruining the economy. And you just can't help but wonder, what would it have been like?
Donald Trump intends to take America backward to the failed policies of the past. He has no intention to grow our middle class. He's only interested in making life better for himself and people like himself. You can see it spelled out in his economic agenda. An agenda that gives trillions of dollars in tax cuts to billionaires and the biggest corporations, while raising taxes on the middle class by almost $4,000 a year.
Ooh, jeez.
Slashing overtime pay. Throwing tens of millions of Americans off of health care. And cutting Social Security and Medicare. In sum, his agenda would weaken the economy and hurt working people and the middle class.
Boom, boom, boom. Vice President Kamala Harris, she warned us that this would eventually happen. All the things you see happening in the economy right now, all the people and families that are being harmed by his failed policies, because he isn't passing really any significant legislation that's supposed to help us. We still haven't gotten our Doge checks. We still haven't gotten lower egg prices. You know, he tells us these eggs are supposed to be 38 cents. And has anyone seen eggs for 38 cents? Has anyone seen eggs for 38 cents? I haven't. Has anyone seen gas for $1.97? I haven't. Has anyone's groceries cost less? Nope. Has anybody's utility bill cut in half? How about let's go ahead and cap credit card interest at 10%. Has anyone seen anything like that? Or, you know, this is one of my favorite ones that he loves to say. He says, if you buy a new car and it's an American-made car, I will allow you to write off the interest paid on the car note. All right. Has anyone seen anything like that? Absolutely not. So we are watching the economy currently collapse because he's obsessed with this word tariffs. Somebody should just cut the TV off, all right? Really, cut the TV off, all right? Because what I heard yesterday, Jared Moskowitz said something yesterday. Did you hear what Jared Moskowitz said about how Donald Trump gets his information, ladies and gentlemen? So what we're going to do is we're going to go to, I don't want to ruin the show. I mean, I don't want to, destroy Kamala Harris's, the beautiful Vice President Kamala Harris's image, all right? With the part of the show that I'm about to start doing next, all right? Because this right here is very disturbing. They always tell me Donald Trump is playing 4D chess. How many people believe Donald Trump is playing 4D chess? Because this is very alarming. This happened yesterday. In Congress, Jared Moskowitz broke down how Donald Trump actually gets all of his ideas. All right. And you would not believe it, ladies and gentlemen. But once he says it, trust me, you will believe it. All right. So let's get this on the record. And then guess what? I got my hammer out. Because guess what? Somebody has to get judged this morning, all right? Lord have mercy. We got to let this thing warm up, it seems like. Hold on. Don't worry. We'll get it going, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. Big Zeus will get this going for you. All right, hold on. 1 second. My Lord. Bear with me. We're having a little bit of a buffering session going on over here, ladies and gentlemen. But we're gonna try to get what Jared Moskowitz has to say on the record. Jesus. Okay, there we go. Hold on. I think we might be getting somewhere. How about this? Ladies and gentlemen? How about this? We'll try this. We'll do Lawrence O'Donnell. How about that? We'll go back to Jared.
As Donald Trump humiliates Donald Trump, and Donald Trump did that again today. But he wasn't the only one. Donald Trump was also humiliated once again today in the Oval Office by the top elected official of another country, in this case Canada. And we've seen a steady stream of that sort of humiliation of Donald Trump in the Oval Office this year, beginning with the president of France. The Canadian Prime Minister both humbled and humiliated Donald Trump at the same time, without Donald Trump having the slightest idea it was happening, because Donald Trump is a 78-year-old man, clearly off his game, is the polite way of putting it, and maybe in significant neurological decline and physical exhaustion at this point. When you watch Donald Trump on video and Sunday's Meet the Press saying, "I don't know," to Kristen Welker's very simple question, don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president? You were watching what appears to be an exhausted hulk of a man with his inexplicable confection of hair slightly out of place for the very first time.
You can see it right there.
And some perspiration beginning to shine through his makeup, who just, right there on TV, gave up. He just gave up in the middle of that interview, saying, "I don't know." When is the last time you heard Donald Trump say, "I don't know"? That is one thing that the fast-talking salesman never says, even when he doesn't know, which is most of the time. Donald Trump is the most ignorant person in American history to ever be asked questions about politics or government, and the true answer to more than 90% of those questions would always be, "I don't know," but Donald Trump can never admit that.
Right.
So he throws collections of words at questions that have no relationship to the question, just to avoid saying, "I don't know." That's the thing he really doesn't want to say. But on Sunday, with his big frame curled into a weary ball on the edge of his chair, Donald Trump gave up and just said, "I don't know." He was, in effect, admitting that he doesn't remember the words of his oath of office in which he solemnly swore to defend the Constitution of the United States. Imagine how beaten down he had to be.
Get him, Lawrence.
On the 104th day of his second presidency, to humiliate himself by saying, "I don't know." There's a lot more at stake for the country in Donald Trump's ignorance to the in the expressed in the answer to that question, of course. But the "I don't know" was another way of Donald Trump saying, "I give up. I just can't sling this stuff anymore." Donald Trump is tonight a total loser based on his own measure of winning.
Did you hear this, MAGA? Donald Trump is a loser. And based on his criteria, meaning the stuff he's going around saying makes you a winner and makes you a loser. You know, his scale. Based on the scale he has created, Donald Trump is a loser. Congratulations, MAGA. This is who you voted for. You could have had Kamala Harris.
It has been a long time since Donald Trump promised his followers that they would get tired of winning. He hasn't told them that this year, not this tariff year, not this trade war year. Instead, he's told them how many pencils they can buy,
right,
or how many dolls they can buy for Christmas. But he has not told anyone that they're going to get tired of winning.
Any of you Trump supporters, has Donald Trump told you you're going to be winning? Identify yourself. I know there's some people out here that support Donald Trump. Who has Donald Trump told that you'll be winning this year? I just want you to show yourself in the comment section. Other than that, I don't really need to talk to you. All right. Good morning, everyone. Because I really think I've destroyed every Trump supporter on this app. And at this point, class is in session. W Zeus. Class is in session, MAGA. I really don't even want to hear your MAGA thoughts. All right. Your MAGA thoughts are disgusting.
Trump made the country a promise. It was a promise that the country did not ask for. Mm-hmm. And it has become, as they say in soccer, an own goal for Donald Trump. Donald Trump promised 90 deals in 90 days.
Did Donald Trump promise 90 deals in 90 days? You know, the beautiful thing about Lawrence O'Donnell, honestly, is the hatred that he has for Donald Trump. Honestly, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, I know we're all way up here, but I really think Lawrence O'Donnell has a lot of hate for Donald Trump compared to us. W. Lawrence O'Donnell, because you can just hit play and you don't even have to pause it. It's like the best music ever. You're just like, thank God somebody out there that's actually in the media gets it. I really. And he keeps it so clean and so professional. It's some of the purest truth you can get out there. All right, seriously.
He crashed the stock market by starting a worldwide trade war, which Donald Trump is very much losing, according to his own standard. Donald Trump promised 90 deals in 90 days, 25 days ago.
Wow.
So we're going to run 90 deals in 90 days is possible. The boss is going to be the chief negotiator.
The boss is going to be the chief negotiator. Wow, that's great. So that's the first time in history that the president of the United States would be the chief negotiator of any trade deal. And as of tonight, the chief negotiator, Donald Trump, is showing the world what the art of no deals looks like.
Really?
Donald Trump has exactly 0 deals in 25 days.
Oh!
This is the simplest way to silence.
Wait a second. Donald Trump has no deals? Lawrence, please explain.
I have a deal. Done. But I need to wait for their prime minister and their parliament to give its approval, which I expect shortly. Well, I'm not going to tell you what country.
He was lying, of course, and I told you that night that he said that the most incompetent Commerce Secretary in history had no deal. None. That was 7 days ago.
How many deals does Donald Trump have, ladies and gentlemen? Let me make sure all of us have been listening to what's been said. 90 days, 90 deals. How many days does he have? How many deals does he have? Look at all these people. 0. Meanwhile, we have, look at that, all of you, 0. Meanwhile, we have boats arriving from China, ships arriving from China, half full, because we're about to get started with this depression. Oh, this depression is about to come, and Hunger Games have officially begun. So we have no deals, and it's 26 days now, because this was yesterday. All right, let's go.
And Howard Lutnick has not dared to say that again, has not dared to say again that he has that deal, because he has no deal.
No deal.
Donald Trump has not negotiated a single deal, which means in his own terms, he is the loser in every one of the 25 deals he is supposed to have negotiated as of tonight. He has lost 25 times because he has gotten absolutely nothing in those 25 days.
Wow, wow, wow. And to the Trump supporters that are getting triggered in the chat,
If you're not happy here, then you can leave.
Go ahead,
As far as
MAGA.
I'm concerned, if you hate our country,
go ahead, MAGA.
if you're not happy here, you can leave.
Yeah.
If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time,
Yeah,
very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now.
yeah.
Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
Because we all know this is Donnie Two Dolls. I will forever call him Donnie Two Dolls, ladies and gentlemen. I think I need to start a Netflix special called Donnie Two Dolls, all right? W. Maurice in the chat. Because you should have known this man would be a nightmare. All the red flags. But then he actually got on TV and told all the kids all over this country, you don't need that many toys. You don't need that many pencils. How many dolls you need? You just need 2. And looked them dead in their eyes and he said it. No care. He didn't care when he said it. Heartless. You only need 2. Now get on out of my face. I don't care about you. That's pretty much what he said to every little kid out here, especially the young ones, right? You know, and so you got to sit back and say to yourself, these people voted for a man to do that to their child. This is some sick stuff these Trump supporters that they've gotten themselves in.
But that hasn't prevented Donald Trump from lying about it. Here's Donald Trump 2 weeks ago in an interview with Time magazine. Question: there's 0 deals so far. Why is that, Trump? No, there's many deals. Question: where are they? When are they going to be announced? Trump: you have to understand, I'm dealing with all the companies, very friendly countries. We're meeting with China. We're doing fine with everybody, but ultimately, I've made all the deals. That was a lie.
It was
0 deals. The art of no deals is to simply lie about mythical deals. Someone must have told the Treasury
This is
Secretary
my favorite part
that
right
it
here.
is against the law to lie to Congress, because this is what Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary told a House committee today.
What did he say?
China, we have not engaged in negotiations with as of yet.
Did you hear that, MAGA? There are no deals with China. He's telling you that he's got them lined up. I said, wait a second, hold on now. Let me go back and watch this interview with Scott Bessent, because Donald Trump is doing a heck of a job distracting us with all of these antics, right? He's doing an outstanding job. And I said, let's go back and double check because sometimes you got to question what people say. I like Lawrence O'Donnell, but buddy, where did you get that clip from? Let me go ahead and double check, because I'm a busy person.
U.S. with respect to tariffs and the overarching strategy.
This is the congressional hearing
You
with Scott
anticipate all
Bessent.
trade deals being bilateral, or could there be multi-country trade pacts of which groups of countries agree to a tariff schedule?
Here it goes. This is Scott Bessent.
Mr. Chairman, this will be path dependent on our trade partners. As I've said before, there are 18 very important trading relationships. We are currently negotiating with 17 of those trading partners. China, we have not engaged in negotiations with as of yet.
Did you hear this? This while the country is falling apart and collapsing, boats coming in half empty, and you mean to tell me we don't have anything coming down the pipe? This is just hold on and let Donnie cook. Let me make sure I get this on the record again, MAGA. This is your guy. This is not a radical left, Marxist, communist, fascist Democrat. This is your guy telling everyone there are no deals with China.
Those trading partners, China, we have not engaged in negotiations with as of yet. So I expect that we can see a substantial reduction in the tariffs that we are being charged, as well as non-tariff barriers, currency manipulation, and the subsidies of both labor and capital investment.
In other words, good luck. Because it's about to get nasty out here. In other words, what Scott Bessent is saying to you Trump supporters is good luck. Because after we strip you from these social safety net programs and we make the costs of everything go up, good luck. Lawrence O'Donnell, Kamala Harris, they're so spot on.
Trump said 2 weeks ago that Donald Trump, was meeting with China. We're meeting with China. Those were his exact words. The Treasury Secretary today said, no, that's not true at all. Not one word has been spoken to China. None of us are meeting with China. The president wasn't telling the truth. That's what the Treasury Secretary told Congress. So there's Donald Trump's Treasury Secretary humiliating Donald Trump today and knowing he can get away with it because he has seen Donald Trump up close this year. And he probably knows that the Donald Trump who is now mired in the 25th day of the art of no deals is not spending his day watching the Treasury Secretary testify about Donald Trump to a House committee. No. Donald Trump spent some of his day with the electorally victorious new Prime Minister of Canada, who won an election that was fueled by Canadian voter intense opposition.
There you
is
go.
The kindest word to put on it.
There you
Opposition to Donald Trump.
That part.
The very first president of the United States to actually offer himself as a candidate for Canadians to vote for on Election Day in a social media burst of Trumpian constitutional dementia. You're about to see the video of Donald Trump achieving the art of no deals once again today in his utterly demented attempt, this time on TV, to make Canada the 51st state.
Get him, Lawrence.
What you are about to see is the
Lawrence.
President of the United States, who sounds like he is out of his mind, sitting beside a real head of state who obviously, though he must have expected it, still can't really believe what he's hearing in the Oval Office.
You can't make
And
this
you
up.
will watch how the Canadian Prime Minister says absolutely no to Donald Trump to his face, with Donald Trump far too exhausted at this point to try to interrupt the way he did when Ukraine's President Zelensky was sitting beside him in the Oval Office.
I remember that.
Things have gone very badly for Donald Trump every day since President Zelensky was in the Oval Office.
Yeah.
And Donald Trump had no fight in him today when the very polite Canadian beside him talked rings around Donald Trump like a ringmaster in a circus with a trained animal, threw in some magic words that sounded flattering enough to Donald Trump so that Donald Trump actually, and you'll see this, ends up nodding and agreeing with the man who is humiliating him and defeating him right there in the room on TV. The first thing you will hear Donald Trump say,
watch this,
after the Canadian Prime Minister has humiliated him is, "That's true."
You hear this? So what Lawrence O'Donnell's basically breaking down to you MAGA demons out there, you can't process what he's saying. Donald Trump, his lunch was taken yesterday by the Canadian Prime Minister, Mark Carney, this guy right here. He came in there, zigzag. It was like he entered the Thunderdome and he didn't even realize it. And you just had to watch it. And I watched it too. And I said, no wonder he snapped and started rambling about Joe Biden and Barack Obama, because he realizes the jig is up. And more people, they're coming out and they're just saying it straight to him. We're not going along with this ridiculous train ride that you got your supporters on.
That's what Trump says. No president has ever lost more in one conversation in the Oval Office than Donald Trump lost in these 90 seconds.
Watch it. Listen.
Hi, I'm Andy Levian.
Hold on. Watch this part. Hold on. We're gonna take care of the bill. I gotta get rid of this.
I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But it's I do feel it's much better for Canada, but we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may, as you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace, that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever. But the opportunity is in the partnership and what we can build together. And we have done that in the past. And part of that, as the president just said, is with respect to our own security. And my government is committed for a step change in our investment in Canadian security and our partnership. And I'll say this as well, that the president has revitalized international security, revitalized NATO, and us playing our full weight in NATO.
Kind of sad. The old guy slumped forward in his bad posture.
Right there.
The Canadian sitting up. The Canadian talking rings around him. Prime Minister Mark Carney, you can see, thinking of mind racing while Donald Trump's saying these insane things. And then finally, when the Prime Minister gets his shot, could not be more calm. And Donald Trump.
You know what? W to the Prime Minister of Canada. I gotta say that because what we saw yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, was just more proof that Donald Trump, he just doesn't have it anymore. His goose is cooked. We have no deals. Donnie Two Dolls has no deals for the American people. And guess what? It's judgment time, right? And so, I've been saying this all week. All of you who are watching me, they are, and all of you Trump supporters, mark my words. You will be judged, and judgment is nigh. It's upon us right now, all because of your blackened, darkened, evil, and you got some evil hearts out here. And so what I'll do is this. Should we do the Lake of Fire? Yes or no, audience? Yes, Lake of Fire, yes or no? Because these so-called Trump voters, so-called Christians, they hate it when I do it. Should we do it? Should we do it? All right, we'll do it. Listen up, you MAGA demons. I am sorely disgusted with you. You are a disgrace to this country. You are a disgrace to the entire world. Actually, you're a disgrace to the universe. All right, W. Chris. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm up this lake of fire for each and every single one of you. Look at what you've done to this great country of ours. You still have your wagon hitched to this deranged lunatic who's out of his mind more than Joe Biden and any other Democrat you could think of. And you're still worshiping him. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and send Donald Trump and his supporters where they belong. Straight to hell! You will be judged! You will be judged!
Silence! You MAGA demon!
W's is. So, ladies and gentlemen, and that's just the tip of the iceberg, all right? Because, you know what? Because, what do I want to do? All right? The other thing that I wanted to get out is this. I don't know if this is going to work right now. It seems like I'm not getting any activity on my links, some of the links for some strange reason, all right? It wasn't, okay, I see what it is. Well, while that's getting queued up, what I'll do is this. We'll go to the box and start talking to all of the beautiful people out there. If you are a Trump supporter, please identify yourselves in the chat. Or actually send Big Zeus a guest request. And what I'll do is I'll give you the opportunity of a lifetime. I'll give you that opportunity to try to successfully climb Mount Olympus today. All right. And all you have to do is be honest And if you can be honest, you might actually climb Mount Olympus. But if you get up in the box and you start hemming and hawing and you start lying, I promise you, there are thousands of people watching and listening to you, ready to drag you straight to hell. W. Zeus. Am I lying, ladies and gentlemen? The show has we've gone to the next level on this show. It's like, yeah, I'm one of the fairest hosts on this app, but if you get up here and you start lying, they're going to drag you to hell because we can't have that. It's too much going on out here. All right, let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me open up the box. Oh, look at that. I'll start off with my good friend, brother Q Dog. Good morning, Q Dog. How are you doing? Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing?
Okay, great.
Send
Yeah,
me a guest request, MAGA. I'll bring you up one at a time. You know how I do it. What do you got for us this morning, brother?
you know, I was scrolling through TikTok and a few other platforms. You just happen to see that incident that took place at the Patriots game?
No.
Pirates game? I think.
With that security guard?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
He was actually an employee of the stadium.
Yeah, I did, where they got into an altercation and then he got the belt out.
Yeah, well, what it was the white tee guy and his partner were harassing a female. And
woman. Oh, yeah, I guess you could say that.
He was, the fascist situation.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically leave her alone.
Correct.
And, he tried to get bucked. He thought that, Trump gave him that energy, that King Kong juice.
Yeah.
And he decided he tried to walk away from him, but he kept coming, kept antagonizing him.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, he caught them hands and he caught that belt. But he spit on him.
Wow. I saw that, yeah.
That's the reason why he wound up pulling his belt out. You know what? I'm gonna take you old school like grandmama used to do. We finna put you on. Yeah, that belt is about to come out.
Yeah, didn't I tell you it's about to be a butt whooping for everybody in this country because of MAGA? Because they don't know how to act, they don't know how to behave in public. It's an embarrassment, to be honest with you. I saw that and I said, we're going to get more and more incidences like this, unfortunately, because by Trump winning, these people really think they have a green light to be nasty people now. It's the weirdest thing.
And then, of course, the organization decides to say, well, his behavior was not acceptable. Talk about the employee. But they didn't press charges against this guy for spitting on the employee.
Yeah, ain't that something?
That. Well, we know what it is. This is it's always something when it comes to these folks that think they're above and beyond you.
Yeah. You know what that reminds me of? I'm trying to get it queued up. Did you hear about this? This was on Piers Morgan. Did you hear about this? Watch this. Listen to this. I think I can get it. Listen to this. And I want you to tell me what you think.
Why would you want to support?
It's titled, A Trad Wife Influencer Left Piers Morgan Stunned when she came to the defense of a white mom who called the 5-year-old boy the N-word on the playground. And I thought of you, Q-Dog, because I know you're really good at catching stuff like this. And I've seen the video, but we're going to get this on the record. We're going to get this on the record because this is how emboldened they are. And there's characters like this on TikTok. All right? They act just like this lady.
A white racist.
Because I want to support free speech, and you cannot have free speech in the country.
No, that's fine. You can support free speech, but you also have to be accountable for what you say. Would you use the N-word out of interest?
Yes.
You would?
I do, quite frequently.
You use the N-word quite frequently. Well, why? Other than the fact you're a despicable racist. Are you?
Some would say I am. I guess according to the ADL, I'm a white supremacist, I'm a neo-Nazi.
But if you use the N-word repeatedly, you are a racist, then, are you?
Sure, I'll embrace that. If that means forwarding, helping white people achieve freedom of speech, real freedom of speech, which, by the way, Shallow Hendricks is being attacked on all fronts. They're trying to bring legal charges against her. They're trying to get her children taken away. So you were saying Carmelo Anthony, it doesn't matter, that's a different
but just to be clear, you just said to me you use the N-word regularly. In what context? Do you use it with black people?
Yes, if it's appropriate.
When would it be appropriate to use the N-word? When would it be appropriate?
Anytime I feel like it.
So you're an unashamed racist.
Correct.
Well, do you understand that makes you a despicable human being?
I guess so. I don't really care. I mean, why are we not talking about Shiloh Hendricks? Why are we talking about?
Well, actually, I think you've moved it on in this debate very quickly to your own racism, which explains why you've supported her in public and why you've got all these views. You see no problem with a woman shrieking the N-word repeatedly because you yourself are a despicable racist, and you've just proudly admitted that with a smug grin on your face, which is pretty horrifying, actually, for most people to have to watch. And shame on you. You're entitled to do it, and I'm entitled to call you despicable.
What do you think about that, Q-Dog? Because that speaks to what you're saying. They're out and proudly saying the N-word. Well, freedom of speech is what they're saying now.
Well, see the thing is, brother, they say it in the right part of town, and they say it in the right space. Like I said, go out to an all-black event and try to do that and see what happens. I promise you won't do it again. Remember that meme that they used to have with James Evans when they said, I bet you he won't do that again. Mm-hmm. Take yourself to an all-black event and just try that. I will give you $1,000 to even just try it.
But she should already know this is disgusting. This is definitely evidence that this is racist. I just don't understand why now they feel like it's so good for them to come out and say it the way that they're saying it now, and then pretend like they're the victims.
They turn victim real quick. Mm-hmm. But I'm gonna tell you this, Maggie. If that was my child, we wouldn't have to worry about making it to court. You have to worry about making it out of intensive care. If that was my child that you attacked.
Lord have mercy. I don't want to advocate violence, but I totally understand the sentiment, brother.
And the reason why I say that is because of the situation that took place. And it's going to come because you keep pushing black folks to the core. And just like that father that unalived that officer, I don't condone it, but I understand it.
Oh, okay.
Because you unalived his son. It's to the point now we fed up. We're not even going to even be concerned with our own freedom. It's going to be an eye for eye, tooth for a tooth.
But what do you have to say? Because there's a certain accountability that we need to also deal with when it comes to Blaga. All right. Do you think Blaga, in a way, is facilitating this type of behavior because they support Trump? Because we got to get this out there.
I think they do to a certain degree because, like I said, I believe that they're scared for their own being because they know what's happening. They see what's happening. They hear what's happening. And they don't want to be a casualty of war, so to speak.
But what if they go and call this lady out, hey, we don't say that, then does that basically fix things in your opinion? Because sometimes they say, no, we call that stuff out on our side. I've heard this before. And I'm just curious how you perceive it on your end, brother.
I go to the words of my grandmama. A lot of folks don't think that fat meat is greasy. And until you actually get yourself in the trenches and understand that your actions are going to have consequences.
That part.
You better realize and wake up that you might want to rethink your process. It's like they always say, it takes 3 seconds to change the narrative of your life. You can lose your freedom. You can unalive. 3 seconds of doing something very stupid and ignorant.
Yep.
Because nowadays, especially with the whole situation where people are losing their jobs or whatnot, you got to be careful who you say stuff to. You can't just be popping off at the mouth because the next thing you know, that's your behind.
That part. And that's why we try to keep it clean on this platform, because though we don't necessarily see eye to eye with a lot of things, I'm like, I try to keep that in mind, especially knowing like you might have people you have to, deal with professionally. You might have relatives. There's no reason to ever get just downright disgusting and evil. But for some strange reason, Trump supporters love doing it. It's the most bizarre thing I've ever seen.
They need to be mindful of what they say and how they say it. They use this platform too freely, and too smoothly to explore their racism and their hatred. And you're gonna one day do it to the wrong person. They're gonna see you on the street. And all I say is, I hope you can run fast enough if it's the wrong person.
Fair enough. Well, that's a PSA announcement, but I appreciate you coming up here, brother. All right, I'm going to try to move it along. All right, ladies and No lie. All right, I got you. No lies detected. All right. Do we have any Trump supporters that want to come up here? Put a 1 in the chat, and I'll bring you up real quick. I try to be fair, but if you're gonna come up here and lie, I'm gonna be honest with you. You should just sit your special behind down and listen to this special broadcast, because I'll get you. I'll make sure I straighten you out. Oh, okay. Ken, welcome back. I know this brother, and he's probably really reevaluating his position a little bit, or are you just coming up here to be confrontational?
No, I mean, I'm not going to switch to the other side, if that's what you're asking me. I'm really excited about China coming to the table. And I know I'm really excited about that, because everybody was like saying that they weren't, but now they are.
Got it.
And that's a testament to how good Trump is doing on this whole thing. And I think he kind of embarrassed the Canadian Prime Minister.
Did you? So let me make sure I got this, because the goal is to climb the top of Mount Olympus, and you got to tell the truth. What deal does he have with China, Ken?
Oh, not yet, but they're coming to the table.
Okay.
They're coming to the table.
So Ken, so let's and I'm going to win the lottery, right? And you're gonna go somewhere today you didn't go yesterday. I mean, you're gonna do. I mean, people say stuff like that, right? But isn't it time that people need to start actually delivering on promises?
They have a place in Switzerland where they're meeting.
Okay.
And you just don't miss. You don't just meet in Switzerland for nothing.
But
so this
Ken,
is good stuff.
Ken, you pay rent. You got a mortgage. What do you got?
I have all that. So.
Okay, so do you ever tell them it's coming? Or do you actually have to make it actually land in their hands?
Yeah, I tell them it's coming, bro.
Do you ever but do you have to make sure it lands in their hands? Because I'm giving you some game, brother. Seriously.
I'm a 52-year-old from Ohio, and I'm one of the founding members of BLACA. So you can't really give me game. I give you game. You know how that works?
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you know what, Ken? You've done something incredible. You've totally managed to ignore truth once again, and it's pretty impressive, honestly, because you did it so proudly. And you should get a star, but I don't have a star to give you. And so with that, Ken,
can you ask me some questions, please? I mean, you wanted Black Up. Can we do the engagement?
If you be honest.
Yes,
if you
definitely.
will be okay. So does Donald Trump have any deals? That's a yes or a no. And if you say it's coming, that doesn't count. So it's no.
No, he doesn't have deals.
Okay. Have your egg prices came down to 38 cents?
I'm not sure if the wifey said.
No, this is yes or no. These are yes or. You asked for the engagement. So have the egg prices came down to 38 cents?
In my household, wifey does the grocery shop. I'm not sure. I have to ask her. Maybe you go grocery shopping. I'm not sure.
Do you have gas in your area for at least $1.97 or lower?
It's going down, definitely.
Ken, I'm asking you to engage because you begged me. These are yes or no questions, and you represent the Blaga, and I do believe that if there was a Blaga statue, you would have it.
I would have it. Yeah,
you would.
I would.
So what I need Blaga to do is be honest with us about what they're seeing, because I understand Blaga are inherently racist. And y'all are happy that Trump is doing some of the things that y'all think are going to translate into y'all getting bags of money. Have you gotten your Doge check? Yes or no?
No, I have not.
See where we're at right now. So no Doge. You don't have any gas. That's $1.97.
No, I don't.
Have you seen any legislation passing where they're talking about no tax on tips or capping credit card interest at 10%?
Yes, I have.
I said, has it passed?
Not yet. No.
Okay, so then there's nothing, right?
But it's in the process. You know, those are good things that are coming on the horizon. Well, it's a lot of good things, like the Ukrainian mineral deal. When we went in there, we didn't know we were going to get rare earth minerals. Now we got them. He did
No,
the
you
same
don't.
thing.
No,
He
you
did
don't.
the same
No,
thing
no,
in the
no.
Congo.
No.
Trump is about that world peace, man. He's about that world peace.
So let me ask this then: the deal. You believe the deal is signed, has been signed? Is there still conflict going on? Is there a ceasefire?
A ceasefire in the Ukraine or the Congo?
In Ukraine, is there a ceasefire? Because remember, he was supposed to get this thing stopped in 24 hours after he got elected. So, is there still a conflict going on, or is there a ceasefire in place?
Well, they're still mad, but I think it's
So just say
down.
yes. Just say yes. There's still a ceasefire. What about in Israel and Palestine? What about over there? Has that stopped?
No, but that
What about
Biden deal
Pakistan? What about Pakistan and India now? They're
Yeah.
saying, and what about those 2 airplanes that have went missing in the Red Sea that Pete Kaig's breath is supposed to be managing?
Yeah.
None of this stuff is actually happening. What happened to Mike Walls?
He's gone. He's gonna.
What
be
happened to him?
ambassador. He'll be ambassador
Why
to
did
the
he?
UN.
Why did he end up being taken out of that current position?
I guess Hegseth was like, "You messed up. You need to go."
So he's incompetent. Great. So with all of this happening, what can you honestly sit up here and proudly say Donald Trump has actually done for Blaga? Not all America, but for Blaga. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. If you were to tell me you guys were getting money out the out the wazoo, you have my attention. I'd be like, you know what? Bags are landing. Let's go. But you're not even giving me that. You're not giving me bags landing. You're not giving me he's saving you money. So I guess all you care about is the border.
No, I think the way he embraces crypto, I think that Biden kind of regulated, kind of hurt crypto, but Trump is embracing that. I think his Bitcoin is even higher in value now than it was probably a couple of days ago. So
you know what I want
think,
you. You know what I want you to do. I want you to listen to this thing about. It's funny you brought up crypto. It says, and this is something that came out. Elizabeth Warren exposed a crypto scam where Trump and his family stand to make more than $60 billion from a $2 billion Saudi beneficial deal. And so, if you could just pay attention, and then we'll talk about it.
One of the biggest corruption scandals in American history. While Trump wrecks the economy, he's raking in cash from shady crypto schemes. An Abu Dhabi firm announced a $2 billion investment in a foreign cryptocurrency company financed by Trump's stablecoin. Transactions that he makes money off, essentially giving Donald Trump a cut of the Abu Dhabi deal. News just broke that Donald Trump's stablecoin is already the 5th largest stablecoin in the entire world. And it turns out that the foreign crypto company Binance has pleaded guilty to criminal charges after allowing money to flow into terrorists and child abusers on its platform. Its founder went to jail, and he's reportedly lobbying the Trump administration for a pardon. So today it was announced that Trump's stablecoin is now available to the broader public for trading. More and more anonymous buyers, big companies, foreign governments may soon start using his stablecoin as their shadowy bank account. Now, if this sounds crazy, it is. Anyone could try to bribe the President of the United States. And it gets worse. The Senate is voting on a bill this week called the Genius Act that would help Trump and his family make even more money off these shady deals. Look, stablecoins are kind of like banks. The 5th largest bank in the world is JP Morgan Chase. Imagine if the President of the United States owned JP Morgan Chase and foreign businesses were pouring billions of dollars into that bank in order to get the ear of the president. Senate would never greenlight that. If the Genius Act passes without some serious changes, Donald Trump will continue to make millions, maybe billions of dollars with crypto scams while he tanks our economy and makes life more expensive for everyone else.
Mic drop. W. Zeus, W. Elizabeth Warren. So, what do you think of that, Ken? Because to me, it's self-explanatory, but I just wanted to test your understanding of the information. What do you think of that?
I think there's a time to invest in the Trump Bitcoin. if things are going that way, I'm sure Elizabeth Warren invests, seeing her salary and her net worth. I'm sure she probably got a bunch of those bitcoins hidden away somewhere.
Okay, all right. Ken, you know
You know
what?
what I mean? 'Cause, you know, I mean,
Ken,
have her in your spoken.
Ken, I listened to what you said, and all I could think about is, what would you say if Joe Biden was doing that? And I know for a fact, bro, you would be dogging Joe Biden out for just having a fraction of what we just heard over there. You would not sit over there. I don't even know if you're sitting. It looks like you're laying. You would not sit there and be smiling from ear to ear with Joe Biden tanking the economy, making life cost more, and at the same time raking it in on the back end like this. You're not winning with me on that, bro. All right? I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. So, Ken, you tried to climb Mount Olympus today, and I got to be honest with you, brother. You got a little higher. All right, but you got a long way to go. All right, because
all right, we should be excited about what Trump is doing. When China comes to the table, I mean, think about it. It can only go up from here. They're not going to cut a bad deal, and that's going to be beneficial to everybody.
Let me ask the audience: is it time for Kenneth to be judged?
No, don't. Do it.
Let me ask the audience, ladies and gentlemen: is it time for Kenneth to be judged?
Don't do it, Zeus. No, Zeus, come on, the people. Let me say what I need to say to the people.
Yes, please. All right, Kenneth.
The people need to hear me.
You didn't make it, but I hope you got what you needed out of this. All right. You got to try again, ladies and gentlemen. Kenneth, I got to move on, brother. All right, you tried, but you lied. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm warming up the lake of fire for Brother Kenneth. We gave him so much truth. W. Rick, all the way. W. Rick, by the way. Kenneth, you got up here and you lied once again, bro. And you're still in the cult, all right? So may hell and damnation rain upon you, because you will be judged. Now let's go. Send him to the lake of fire. Ken, newsflash, bro. Nobody in their right mind believes anything you said. And again, to the Blagga community, and I can speak for Blagga to a certain degree, y'all are not landing bags. Even if you get a gig, say you get a job because you think, you know what, they deported these people and now I'm getting employment opportunity. That's not the bag, all right? That just shows me you didn't really have much going on and you weren't applying yourself, Smokey. You remember that movie, Friday? Y'all got to start applying yourselves and stop blaming other people for your failures in life, all right? It's not that difficult, all right? So, Ken, do better. Let's move it along, ladies and gentlemen. I don't got all morning to do the same song and dance. Oh, okay. I see my brother Nutty. You know, we did a number to him yesterday, but Nutty, if you're here, I see you. Good morning, Tiffany, for the people. Nice to see you. Yes, Nutty, how are you?
I'm doing great. I don't know if you saw the comment. I was begging to get in the box with Mr. Ken, Mr. Blagga himself.
Is he still here? Is he still here? Did you want to talk to him? Because I've destroyed him, annihilated him, rope-a-doped.
Zeus, I don't think you're being fair.
That's fine.
When you have someone as awesome as the founding member of Blagga, we have to treat that person with some respect and decorum. We have to, because how many times do we get people up in their lives, Zeus, that are founding members of such an amazing institution?
Well, Nutty, your wish is my command. Perhaps you can show us all how one subject like Kenneth should be treated when he is in the kingdom amongst the gods. Do with him as you wish, Nutty. W Nutty in the chat. Go ahead. Ken has been summoned for you, Nutty. Deal with him.
Hey, Kenneth. It is an honor. It is indeed a pleasure to be around such greatness, sir. How are you today?
I am well, sir. You're welcome, by the way. You're welcome.
Oh, I'm welcome. Oh, I feel so privileged. Yes, yes. So I recall. Excuse me. I recall a few minutes ago when Zeus asked you if you had a mortgage and if you had a rent payment and et cetera, et cetera. You responded by I have all of them.
He did say.
Well, one is for the wifey, the other one's for the
you
the
recall?
side piece. Yeah, one is for the wifey, one's for the side piece.
Say that again.
One's for the wifey and one's for the side piece. The mortgage is for the wifey, the rent is for the side piece. So I have both.
So, sir, so you are so moral that you get up in our lives and you preach morality, and yet you're admitting in front of 2,000 people that you have a side chick and you have a wifey too?
Wifey and a side piece. Don't
Would you,
disrespect.
first of all,
don't disrespect them. I love
Ken,
them. I love them.
Okay, are you talking about a side piece at Kentucky Fried Chicken? Because I find it very difficult to believe that you're referring to another adult woman.
Human being.
Yeah, I'm saying it's black colloquialism. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with black vernacular.
No, because we're not black.
So you got another
yeah,
strike, Kenneth. You got another strike in the kingdom, all right? Because that's just a lie. I know for sure you're not juggling two relationships.
Let's talk about
paying two mortgages, or is it two mortgages, or is it two rents?
I mean, I want to talk about politics.
But no,
he wants to stick to policy. All right.
No. I got to ask this. So I want to. Are these black women?
I'm being facetious, bro. I mean, come on. Let's not dwell on this. Let's talk about the politics right
So
now.
you're being facetious. So you're using a word you can't even spell. But are these black women?
What? I thought we were going to talk about Trump's policies.
Are these black women?
I went to Hampton University. I only deal with black women.
So we know that's a lie right there, because black women ain't gonna put up with the shenanigans you're spouting off right now.
After the story, my mother in Sunday school used to tell me the stories of Emmett Till, and after those stories, I would never even look at a white woman. So I never even mess with one. Never ever. I know better. I know better.
You on purpose. Zeus, let me tell you what's going on here with Kenneth.
Let's go.
Let me tell you what's going on.
Yeah.
Ken, he goes to black spaces. He goes to black spaces.
Only black spaces.
He begs to get on as a panel.
Yeah.
Because he believes in his head that he's some sort of content creator. And he's trying to, as you put it, Zeus, he's trying to get that bag. So that bag that he's getting is 14 coins. He's trying to legitimize himself by getting on these platforms, and he's trying to get followers, because I've seen him in other lives, in other black creators' lives. He'll beg for coins. He'll beg for followers. That's why he said, "No, can we please engage?" So this is a little cat and mouse game. But see, here's the deal.
I'm going to talk about
you
politics.
See my profile picture, Ken?
No,
I'm the MFN lion, and you're the freaking mouse, my guy. So I need you to answer the questions like Zeus asked you. What has Donald Trump done for the black community?
I think we have a.
Let's talk about it. You wanted to talk about?
Yeah, I do.
Let's talk about it.
Can I speak on it? I think Donald Trump has pursued the fact through the Supreme Court that the 14th Amendment does not apply to illegals. It applies to black people. I think he will enforce that, and we'll know where we stand on that issue. So that's one very valuable thing I think Donald Trump has done.
Well, first of all, Ken, let me stop you. In my presence, I can't speak for Zeus, but in my presence, you will not call another human being illegal. You can call them undocumented. You can call them immigrants. You can call them visitors for all I care, but you will not call them illegal on stolen land.
Well, what you gonna do if I do?
You will respect human beings.
Well, he can always say, "Zeus, I'm done with this discussion," and then
well,
we can get to judging.
Yeah. I was just wondering what he's gonna do.
Well, we're always professional, Ken. Here, we're very professional,
Kenneth.
but we'll deal with you professionally.
Here's the deal, Kenneth. You brought up the 14th Amendment, and thank you for bringing up something that's in my wheelhouse. What say you about the 14th Amendment again?
I said it was the 13th, the 14th, and the 15th were like the Black Amendments, and I don't think we should just
The
give them
Black
so.
Amendments.
Yeah,
Great.
the slave amendments. And I think we just can't give them up so freely to the undocumented. I don't think that's right. I don't think it's fair to our ancestors who fought and unalive for that. So, are you foundational Black American, or you from on the boat? You just get here.
So, what was the 13th Amendment, Kenneth?
That was free the slaves.
So, what specifically? You say free the slave.
Yeah.
Can you give me a more explicit term? What?
I mean, that's pretty much. I mean, that's right.
Okay. What's the 14th Amendment, Kenneth?
Let's give the former free slave due process.
It defines citizenship, and it didn't give former slaves. It gave all people.
No, it was written,
which included slaves.
No, it was for the undocumented.
Hold on, sir. Listen to me. It defines citizenship, guaranteeing equal protection under the law and due process, not just for slaves, sir. And yes, it included former slaves, but it included all people. That's why I say F the Constitution, because I'm more about the amendments, because the Constitution was not written for us. That's why we have amendments.
Yeah, I'm
What was
kind
the
of confused.
15th Amendment, sir? Because you brought up the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment.
That was the one, right to vote. I mean, I'm like I told you, I'm Hampton University grad, son.
So it did not give the right to vote. It expanded the voting rights.
Okay, you can't do this with me. You can't do this.
No. So I'm being technical because this is an important
I'm
thing.
saying
We
I'm
have
saying
to
I'm
be
smarter than
technical.
you. I'm saying I'm smarter than you.
You're not smarter than me,
My
sir.
university is better than your university, sir.
Sir, okay, I'm not gonna. That's called pivoting and deflecting.
Hampton University, can you buy that?
That's called pivoting and deflecting.
Can you buy that?
Because
Hampton
I'm not going to.
You can't.
So Ken,
you can't argue. You can't.
Ken, the issue I have with you in this is Donald Trump made it clear that he doesn't even know if he needs to follow the Constitution. If that's all if what your position is based on whether or not he has to follow the Constitution, he doesn't care.
He's trying to define that the 14th Amendment was given.
It could be the 28th Amendment. It could be the 38th Amendment. Donald Trump does not care about the Constitution.
No, he does. It's important to Black people that we define who those amendments are for.
What good is laws if he doesn't care about following them?
Oh, he does follow law. He has followed law.
Well, where's Albrego Garcia?
Who?
Exactly.
Who is that guy? Who that guy?
Continue,
El Salvador?
continue.
El Salvadorian guy? The MS-13 guy? He's gone.
Well.
He's
First of
gone.
all, Ken, I wouldn't let nobody come up here and start lying on you. All right.
That's what his tattoo said.
So Ken, with all the situation that's going on in America and people being accused of things, I think you and I and Nutty should be able to agree that none of us think we should be subjected to false allegations. Am I correct? Or is it acceptable for people to just make up stuff about you that could actually destroy your life? Are you okay with that?
I mean, if I get a tattoo saying
No, Ken, answer the merits of the statement, the question that I'm asking you. Is it acceptable for people to just start randomly making up stuff about you, true or not, and just saying this is what he did? And especially if it starts encroaching upon it being criminal. Is it okay to people? Are you okay with that, bro?
If I got that thug life tatted on my chest, then I might be a thug. You know what I mean?
Zeus, can I talk to you for a second, and we'll let him listen to our conversation. So I'll answer your question, Zeus. What questions would you like to ask?
I thought you were engaging with me, guys.
Kenneth, shut up. Go ahead,
Wow.
Zeus.
Is it acceptable, Nutty, for people to run around here and start accusing people of doing things and being criminals with no evidence of it, knowing that it could honestly ruin people's lives? Is that an acceptable thing for you personally?
You know it's not. You know it's not. We call the other persuasions. We call them out when they use harmful language, especially when it comes to us Black men.
Yep.
Like the Russian bears.
Are you foundational Black or
Ken, this is an educational opportunity for you. Just listen to what we're doing, brother. You're gonna get your
when they wanted to come after you, Zeus, for the coffee invite, the coffee gate, I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, the coffee gate. Yeah, I like that. That's what it was.
So you remember when just a few days ago when one of the Russian bears said that I threatened them because I told them to shut up or something like that?
Yeah.
So the reason why we get so angry about it, because we know that we're black men in this country. As much as we love this country, a country that does not love us, we know that we have to tread lightly, and that why your words matter. That's why when someone accuses us of something so despicable and so defiled, that we're going to stand up and we're going to fight against it, because we know what the outcome could be.
You understand this, Ken?
This brother that's on top of me right here.
Hey, pause.
This brother that's on
No
top
Diddy. No Diddy. No.
Stop it, Ken.
He is so lost in his own sauce that he doesn't realize that that white people won't even look at him a second time when he's in their presence after they get what they want from him.
So let me break this down to you, Ken. If you were falsely accused of, let's just say, something that involved harming kids, would that make you upset, Ken?
Yeah, it would crush me.
And that's my point. That's what Nutty and I are trying to explain to you. If you're going to label somebody to be affiliated with a gang or be a person that's done harmful things, you better have everything to back that up. Because if not, what you're doing is you're spreading rumors and allegations around that have the ability to destroy and harm people. You and everybody here knows that that man has not been proven to be in a gang. You know the photo was photoshopped, and they wrote the letters M and the numbers MS-13 around his knuckles to make people think he's in a gang. But he has not been convicted of anything, and you could try to say, well, he's been pulled over. Who hasn't been pulled over? Just because the cops pull you over doesn't mean you're guilty. You know how it works, Ken. You gotta go to court.
Zeus, you know what's so funny? Because I don't want to talk about the whole gang. What's funny is that particular gang is one of the most notorious gangs in the world. If he were truly that gang member, he would never get out. He would never get out that gang.
Why are you capping for Garcia?
No matter what border.
Why do you love Garcia? I want to know why you guys love Garcia.
Ken, we'll answer your question, but he's trying to help you understand. It's not about Garcia. It's not about Garcia.
Why is he allowed to come in and shut up, though?
Yeah, I did, because you're interrupting greatness.
I think you're lesser than I am.
Just Ken.
It's a good thing you don't get paid to think.
I thought you were going to talk about the 14th Amendment.
No, Ken.
What about that?
It doesn't matter if he doesn't follow the Constitution. So we've already nipped that in the bud. Trump doesn't care about the Constitution. Now we're talking about humanity, bro. Is that a conversation you can handle?
I think we need to talk about the 14th.
Kenneth is a troll. He is an abomination to us, to our own people. He is not one of us.
Is he more dangerous than DJ?
He is the person Kendrick wrote those lyrics about. He is the epitome of what Kendrick is talking about.
W Nutty. I gotta ask that question.
Despicable. He is vile.
I'm more of a
absolutely vile.
I'm more of a
Zeus. This is one MFer that will sell you out for coins. He is not only Barabbas, he is Judas.
Oh, Iscariot.
This dude is Judas.
Judas.
He will sell his own people out for 30 pieces of silver.
Oh, now that strikes a chord right there. You know what I mean? That struck a chord.
I'm not really a Kendrick fan. I'm more of a Chuck D fan.
I don't care if you're a Kendrick. Shut up and stay on top.
I'm more of a
Stay on top.
Ken.
This pivoting, this deflecting, I'm tired of it.
Okay, so is it? Are you ready for judgment, Nutty?
These boxes. If you want to get into these boxes, stop pivoting. Have these conversations, boy.
I'm trying to.
W Nutty.
I am tired of people like you, Ken. You are absolutely dangerous to our community. You are absolutely abhorrent to the human race.
I can't get no coins up in here.
No, you can't. Because you are a fool. You are a clown. You are a despicable piece of waste.
And Nutty is keeping it so clean on the show. Nutty, I appreciate you holding it back, but giving it to him in the rawest form possible.
I can care less about what school you fictitiously graduated from.
Fictitious.
Yeah,
What you
with
he
my
said,
whole chest.
yeah, W Nutty.
about who you trying to support. What I care about is you doing harm to people, and your rhetoric is doing harm, and you're chasing coins when I'm making the bag, my brother. Stop chasing coins.
I'm low-key jealous, to be honest with you, Zeus.
For
Low-key
the
jealous.
love of money is the root of all evil.
Amen.
You are evil. You're doing this for money.
I wanted to talk about the 14th. You're doing it for
You
money.
don't want to talk about nothing because
I
every
wanna
time we
talk
bring
about-
something up, you pivot and you deflect.
Dayman W Nutty. So Ken.
Zeus, I'm done with this fool.
All right, Ken. Once again, you've managed to be judged twice. All right, Ken. I appreciate you willing to try to come back and redeem yourself, but you know what it is.
No, not again.
Yes, it is again. It is again because you just got up here and you lied, and then you you tried and you lied, ladies and gentlemen. You know what it is. Let's go ahead and take care of business.
Silence, you knocker.
Now, listen, I normally don't like to have to apologize, but I do apologize to all of y'all out there, all right? Normally, we try to keep, stuff like that goes on in the community amongst ourselves, but today was just something.
But Zeus, sometimes you got to call it out. He is dangerous because he's chasing coins. Because every single time, did you hear what he said? I can't get no love up in here. This is not about coins, but thank y'all for the gifts. But this is not about coins.
It never was.
This is about real life. And I'm going to take a page out of Jerry Springer because I need to get off here because I'm heated. Because I know he's going to go to another live and I'm going to go find him. So I'm going to take a page out of Jerry Springer.
Go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. Take a little time to enjoy the day.
Amen.
Take care of yourself and each other.
Amen.
Have a good day.
Amen. Amen. All right. W Nutty in the chat. Again, sometimes when I go live, I honestly just say buckle up because you never know where the show's going to go. But this is what goes down in the Thunderdome. W to the chat. All of you who survived so far where we're at right now, W to each and every single one of you, because honestly, this is what it takes, honestly, to get people to wake up and get out of this cult that they are in. Look at the time. Oh my gosh. I'm almost at my time limit. I'll go for another 15 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. I'll do another 15 because I started late. Only because I started late. All right, I'll do another, let's see, who do we got next, ladies and gentlemen? Who do we have next? Good morning, Frank. I don't know if I've spoken to you before, Frank, but what do you got for us this morning? Good morning, Frank. How are you?
Yeah, how are you?
I'm all right. Have we spoke before?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, what do you got for us? You voted for Trump or no?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, what do you want to get off of your chest this morning?
That China's bowing down to America.
Oh, okay. So are you going to be honest with us as you try to climb Mount Olympus today? Meaning, are you going to honestly tell the truth?
That is the truth. Don't sugarcoat it.
So where is the deal? What is the deal? What are the details?
China,
what are the details of the deal?
Have you not heard that warehouses are closing down in China right now?
Well, are you speaking on
Look
here?
it up. It's all public information.
Are you
because of what's
listen,
going
Frank,
on. We have to bow down to us.
Frank, in case you didn't
Well,
know,
it is true.
in case you
You're a
didn't,
fucking idiot.
Frank, please don't curse on my show. In case you didn't know, in order to climb Mount Olympus, all you have to do is tell the truth. So, is there a deal?
I am telling
Is
the
there a
truth.
deal? Is there a deal? Has Donald Trump signed a deal? Has Congress actually engaged in signing a new deal with China in any way, shape, or form to get these tariffs straightened out with China? Have we signed a deal?
No, you're gonna see. China is already.
So the answer is that Frank. The answer
China
is just
is gonna crumble. And guess what? That $20 iPhone they make that we sell for $1,500, that shit ain't gonna happen no more. You're gonna buy.
that's your second time, Frank. Frank, honestly, I'm trying to give you a benefit of the doubt. All I'm asking is there a deal?
Yeah. How about you open up your eyes and do your little research?
All right.
I know you got four eyes. You should be able to do a lot of research.
Hi,
buddy.
Val.
Oh no, Val. Oh, this guy's horrible. This guy's an idiot too. This
I'm
is
an
another
idiot.
retard.
Val,
you
Val. Hold on, Frank.
You are a piece of crap. You suck. You don't know anything. You're an old man.
Hi, Val.
Wow, boy, I'm glad I triggered
Your
somebody
presence,
this morning.
your
You're in
presence.
your mom's basement.
Glad I
You
triggered
don't.
somebody this morning. Frank, in order to have a deal, you'd actually have to have communications. In order to have a deal, you'd have to have China that didn't sell off $8 billion of our stocks. Okay, those are the things that you'd have to have in place to have a deal. Okay, you'd have to have Japan not saying that they're going to now look at doing the nuclear option of selling off over $1 trillion of our bonds. These are the things you don't understand, Frank. These are the things you sit back here and you want to try to come up with talking points about something closing down in China without having any information on what that might actually be. But the first thing, Frank, is you'd actually have communications. And China has come out and said absolutely clearly they are not going to strike any deal with the U.S.
Val, and about Frank got reported. Frank, and I had to remove Frank. So please continue, though, Val.
Yes, and then so that would have to be the deal. What China is going to do is strike deals with our what used to be our allies, the UK, the EU, Canada, and they have struck several deals with Mexico to the point that they're actually going to open Temu stores in Mexico.
Wow.
So yes, we can still buy the products. We'll have to just go across the border to do it. Okay, so these are the things that you don't understand, Frank. So when you come up into a panel,
He said, "Let him up, please." I guess, okay, because it was a warning, Frank. But if you come up here and you behave, it'll be a good live. But if you get up here and you want to just show us how nasty your mouth is, I don't want to do that. We already are. You got us in trouble already.
What he's saying is nothing true. Everything he's saying about the Mexican factories and all that making Temu, there's no facts on that.
I didn't say factories. I said they're actually going to open Temu stores in Mexico. Yes, that's already been reported.
Frank,
Frank struck that deal.
Frank, you're not even listening. You're just.
No, I am listening.
What did he say?
He just told. I just was listening to him. I got kicked.
Oh,
because of that violation.
Oh, you said they said you used a slur. Okay, well with that, then I gotta do what I gotta do. I didn't catch the slur. Thank you to the chat for catching it. I trust the chat. If the chat says you said it, especially the mods, then we gotta just take it. You can't use any slurs on the show. That's why I tell you all, y'all really need to practice what you preach. If you say you're Christ-like and you're Christians, I want to see it. All right, thank you to the chat.
As far as the deal that Mexico's working out with China, that's actually a couple-week-old story, Frank. That's not new news. Okay, so this ain't something that just came out yesterday. You could have actually seen this. The president of Mexico, she's very proud of the work she's doing with China right now. Okay, so they're going to be the next global giant if we don't get our head out of our tails.
Tell them, Val. They're listening. These people, Val, they listen to you. That's why they fear you. They tremble when you get in the box because they know it's not going to be a simple, it's coming conversation. You know, he has all the stuff that he said, but it's all hearsay. It's all hearsay, nothing concrete, ironclad, right? Isn't that kind of what's going on? We don't have any deals.
No, there's no deals. There's nobody working. You know what I'm saying? There's nobody working with the U.S. right now. And nobody wants to work with the U.S. right now. And there's a reason behind that. Because our word cannot be trusted at this very moment. That is why nobody is working with us. Because this is a man sitting in office right now that can say he's going to work a deal with you and then turn right around an hour later and go, well, no, I really didn't like it. And I'm going to tell you what causes that. And that would be the new trade agreement that he worked out with Canada and Mexico in his first term in office.
Wow.
That he didn't tell you how dumb this man is. came out and said, I don't know who put that deal together, but they were an idiot when it was him.
Woo! You can't make this stuff up. Right?
Yeah,
You can't make this stuff. He owns himself, and his supporters, they own themselves. And they turn around and blame us for calling it out.
You can't make it make. You're right. You can't make it make sense. You can't. You know what I'm saying? But what it really does is, because as we're sitting up here laughing about it, the rest of the world looks at that and goes, we cannot trust a deal that we put together with the United States. So if I want you to think about it this way, if you go out and you work a deal with a friend of yours and then he burns you on that deal, are you going to work another deal with that friend?
Absolutely no. I would never. If you burn me, there's bags on the line, and then you turn around and you pull the rug from underneath me, and then you say, all right, now let's try this again. I am not really sure how I'm going to respond to that, because it's just not, it'll never happen, to be honest with you, Val. And I'm glad you asked me that question. But the other question that I had to ask you is, as a business owner, hypothetically, is it harder to plan, the rest of your year, so to speak, in terms of, financially with these?
It's an impossible situation for businesses right now. Okay. I mean, they don't know what their cost factors are going to be. They don't know what their inventory levels are going to be. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It is an impossible situation for real, but especially large business. Okay. It is these are the types of things that hurt you in ways you don't see. These are the types of things that create layoffs, because you don't have any function of what your business is going to be like, or any capability of forecasting.
Mm-hmm.
Because forecasting requires stability.
Yep, look at these people in the chat. They're saying that my small businesses are suffering as a result of this. And this is, even I played the audio yesterday, Trump voters are still hitching their wagon to him, and they're saying, please, just give us a 90-day plan. Could you do that, dear leader? And he's not even giving them the 90-day plan.
Yeah, there's no plan. I mean, I'm just going to call it as I see it. There is no plan. There's a lot of excuses, but no plan.
None. Wow. Look at this. Someone wrote, got laid off because my business can't forecast. This is what I'm talking about. Well, listen, Val, I appreciate you coming up here, brother. All right. We're going to try to move it along and get up out of here. Seriously. All right. But I might have to, reach out to you if necessary. All right.
I know the routine.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, W Val in the chat. No lies detected. No lies detected. All right. Listen, okay, we got a little bit more to go, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see something real quickly. I don't know if I got it to work over here, but I wanted to make sure we get this on the record about how Donald Trump comes up with his genius ideas when he's playing chess. And I tried to get it to play earlier, and I don't know if it'll work now.
For me.
Okay, it will. This is Jared Moskowitz. He's explaining, member of Congress, explaining how Donald Trump gets all of his ideas, all right? I mean, and this is, to me, something that you got to think about the rest of the day, all right?
3 times more expensive than any prison to operate in 1959 Alcatraz was. Okay, it needs about $250 million to shore up the infrastructure and utilities. All food and water has to be barged in. Sewage has to be barged out. The facility is almost 100 years old. And so I don't get it. In the days of Doge, where we're cutting budgets, we got to find savings. Now we're going to what? We're going to cut Medicaid and SNAP so that we can pour money into Alcatraz. First of all, have you been to Alcatraz recently? It literally is it's a rust box walking around. You need a tetanus shot just to go into the building. Do we still give tetanus shots, or has RFK gotten rid of those? I can't keep up. And so listen, where did the president get this idea?
Right here.
All of a sudden.
Where did he
get the idea? Perhaps he was watching Escape from Alcatraz, right? And I brought boards because some people are visual learners. Perhaps he was watching Escape from Alcatraz by Clint Eastwood. Actually, funny part about that, it was actually on television in South Florida. It was on PBS South Florida over the weekend when Trump was at Mar-a-Lago. In fact, he made his announcement just hours after it aired. You know PBS, the programming that he's trying to get rid of. So just in case you're keeping up, right? It's 2 dolls for girls and 0 Elmos. Okay. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it wasn't that. Maybe he was watching The Rock with Sean Connery. You know this one. This is where Sean Connery goes back to Alcatraz because he originally escaped Alcatraz and needed like an expert on chemical weapons. Maybe the president was just Netflixing and chilling, like watching The Rock, which is not to be confused with The Rock, right? That's a different person. And then the president's really excited about these sharks. Right? He's talking about all the sharks and the person escaped. He lost his clothing. So, sharks, they don't have laser beams on. They don't have laser beams, but maybe the sharks are going to be there. So this is just all ridiculous. But then all of a sudden after that, we heard like, oh, we're going to tariff the movies. Well, hold on a second.
Wow.
Why would we tariff the movies? This is where the president is getting his ideas from. We can't tariff the policy idea making of the presidency. And look, I know what my colleagues are going to say. They're going to say, Jared, just let the president cook. This is 4D chess he's playing.
Oh.
And I'm going to say, maybe he's just watching late night movies. Perhaps he's just watching late night movies. In fact, we're told he got this movie tariff idea from no other than John Voight, the guy who was in that great movie Anaconda. I don't know if you've seen that.
Wow.
And so this is the ridiculousness that's going on. So I want to end with this. Mr. Pearl, you run a faith-based organization, right? No? Oh, Mr. Wild, you run a faith-based organization. Sorry. You think it's a good idea to reopen Alcatraz? You think the faith-based community has been pounding the table to reopen Alcatraz?
Prison Fellowship stance is that prisons should be safe, effective, efficient, and uphold human dignity.
Okay, let me make it easier for you. All 4 of you, which one of you think we should reopen Alcatraz? Just raise your hand. Okay, so for my colleagues who sometimes, are a little slow, no one raised their hand. Okay, nobody, not a single witness. None of your witnesses here think we should reopen Alcatraz. And so, we have real problems in the prison system. It does need reform. It does need money. We can work on that together. But the president puts out Alcatraz as a distraction.
All right. So Jared Moskowitz. I'm glad that we got the technical difficulties fixed. All right. And so, ladies and gentlemen, make no mistake. What Donald Trump is doing is literally sharing ideas that he got out of the movies. All right. So I wanted to get that on the record. Now, I'll talk to you, Shay. And then, honestly, Big Zeus has to get out of here.
I know you do.
All right. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I really hate doing this. No, I don't. I'm going to take it. No, I don't. But, I just, when people are on this app, we're going to go back to your first segment, which I think is really important to talk about.
Yeah.
There are lots of cosplaying white people, even though they call themselves brown because they're half Italian, half Mexican, right? Which,
yes.
So Italians are Europeans. And Europeans also conquered Mexico. I just want to explain that anytime you use racial slurs, the N-word is not the only racial slur, people. I mean, I can't list them all because, number one, I don't talk like that and I don't say these words.
Correct.
And I can't list them because we're on TikTok. But there's a whole list of racial slurs that you should never use, Russian Bear.
Never. EME, thank you for the subscription. Tell them.
I don't care if you're half Mexican. So am I. And the W word, the moisture back, right? Okay. That is the racial slur for Mexicans because some of them swam across the Rio Grande, right?
Yeah.
Now I've got a question for geography people. Does the Rio Grande go the entire southern border? Anybody? Is it only in Tejas?
Tell them, Shay.
Is the Rio Grande in Arizona, New Mexico, and California? Yes or no? So there might be other ways that Mexicans have crossed the border other than swimming across the Rio Grande, yes? Also, do you know for a fact that California, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Arizona, and Texas were once Mexico?
Oh.
Did you know that, Russian Bear? They were all part of Mexico until the treaty was signed, right? You can look up that, okay?
So when the treaty was signed, did that mean all the people who were in the land were instantly dispersed to Mexico, or did they probably stay in the land?
Stayed here. They absolutely stayed here.
That's interesting.
Although the white pioneers, that came in, right, and went west, could claim that land over the Mexicans that were already there, the indigenous population that were already there. Just so when we go back to history and understanding that it wasn't just the Black community that was subject to being forced off lands, to being not allowed to buy land, that were moved out. The racial discrimination of history in this country goes far beyond that. And so when you claim to be Mexican, although you were talking about the fact that your grandmother wanted mariachis at your wedding, so you had to hear mariachis at your wedding, and it was so irritating, you couldn't wait for them to stop. But yet you want to claim to be Mexican, but yet you hate your Mexican culture, obviously.
Self-hate. That's something. That's deep.
It is. It's really deep. So she wants to feign that I'm Mexican when she gets caught using racial slurs because it's okay. Now, she was in a led by a Colombiana group, so she feels comfortable in a Latina space to drop these slurs because they're talking about Cinco de Mayo and they're talking about margaritas. Like, they're so funny. They're so funny,
Yeah.
Listen, you can do what you want. Like Piers Morgan was explaining to that white supremacist woman, right?
Yeah.
It is your First Amendment. So don't go crying. I can say what I want in her little chat rooms. Yes, you can. No one's saying you can't say these things. But if I hear it, I'm going to call you out.
All right.
I'm going to call you out.
W. Shane. Yeah, choices.
Because you're not safe. You're not safe for people. You're not. You're hateful.
Yep.
You don't use these words unless you are a racist person. Period. End of story. So get your history lessons down. Understand that not all Mexicans crossed the Rio Grande. And even if they did, it's a slur and doesn't need to be used.
Thank you.
There's your history lesson. I love you guys.
All right.
Be better out there. My God.
Thank you.
People.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, W. Shea in the chat. Once again, giving. All right, love you too. All right, yeah, see, that's what you call DEI training, and it's coming to you on TikTok, and you really should be paying Shay for this, MAGA, because you know you got money. Send it to Shay when she gives you this DEI training. How about that? All right, because you honestly need it. It's 2025, right, Shay? And we shouldn't have to explain this stuff to folks who are considered grown.
You shouldn't. You should have been raised better. Like, I don't know why we have to explain these things. It's just ridiculous. If you don't want to be called out for being a terrible person, then don't be a terrible person. It's not that easy.
And when you get called out, just take your medicine. I don't want,
Just
I
be
made
like
a
that woman on
mistake.
Piers Morgan. I am a racist. I own it. I don't care. It's my First Amendment right. Girl, just say that.
Yeah.
That's how easy
And then
it
we'll
is.
deal with
Just
you
own it.
accordingly. And then we'll deal with you accordingly. But when you say that you're comfortable doing those things, what I don't want to do is see you, 6 or 7 months down the road pretending you're a victim. That's the only side you got to understand.
That's the part. Yeah, she's crying right now, and I'm like, stop crying.
Yeah.
You said it.
If you put an address on it and you wear your badge proudly, I'm like, you know what? You really are honest. I'll give you that. But being honest, honestly, has consequences as well. And so I just say to people, practice being the better person and listening to your better angels. All right. Don't let the devil sucker punch you and get you to get caught doing stuff doesn't really reflect the true person. All right. W. Shay. All right.
There you go. Well said, my friend.
All right.
Well said.
Fair
If
enough.
it's not who you are, then stop it.
Thank you. Seriously.
I love you guys.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
All right, we are out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, listen, I got to get up out of here. But listen, I want to give all of you